Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I've seen better days, to be honest. I had a bit of a nightmare a few weeks ago. Woke up 2 o'clock in the morning to flames outside my house. Whether you're renting, buying or building, if you're standing in front of a fire that is expanding with no water supply, no phone, no light source, it's a horrible, horrible, helpless feeling. It's a kind of a cautionary tale. So we're going to go through the background to this specific problem and go through exactly what happened because it's burned in my mind. It was quite a surreal experience, and also sort of go through some safety things that I'm taking on myself, and I suggest that you do too. So it is kind of a mystery, this fire. We've sort of 80% know what it is, but there were a few things going on that had me sort of rubbing my chin a little bit. On that note, we're going to head outside and we're going to look at the background to this particular problem. Okay, so when we started building the house, I didn't want any wires showing above ground, any pipes, anything like that. So everything was underground, and the electric wires ran from where the post is under the concrete, along here, just above the ramp, across there, and into the wooden little door into the house. So all was lovely for 14 years until I went to the UK in 2017. My wife was alone, and there was an explosion near the post under the ground, and I don't know what it was. It could have been bitten by an animal, just disintegrated cables. Anyway, they decided to put the cables above ground. They went along this wall in piping like this, PVC piping. There would be 4 wires in there. It's a 3-phase system all the way along the wall to a junction box, which is no more. You can see kind of the fire damage. This is 3 weeks later. But anyway, the junction box was here. You can see the square where it was, and it's complete. There's nothing left of it. I can't see anything, not even little metal fragments. It was quite a big box. So the wires went into the junction box, and then there was a thick pipe with the wires in from the junction box that ran and connected back to the underground cables into the house. All was lovely for like 4 years. It was checked apparently, and that was until 3 weeks ago. So this is where I spent most of that day. I was actually editing the epic haircut fail video most of that afternoon. And to give you an idea where we are, the junction box is directly opposite, if you can see through this dirty window. Finished editing. I had problems with it actually, which is a godsend because I was going to go to Pisnalo to be with family. But I stayed and said I'd come the next day. So finished editing and started watching some boxing. I don't know, about midnight. And then the first strange thing happened. Headed to the bedroom to turn on the aircon. As I put the power on, there would be no power. There would be a green light come on, then it would fade away. And I kept trying to turn it on and it wouldn't power up. So I just thought, yeah, there must be something wrong with it. It's a pretty old unit. So I'll get Pradap, my aircon guy, to fix it tomorrow. Went to the toilet, as you do, did teeth. Mistake I made was I left my phone next to the sink and forgot it. And before I went to sleep, I thought, right, I'll just check the aircon. So the aircon powered up fine in here, and the aircon in the big room powered up fine as well. So it was a bit odd that the bedroom aircon wouldn't power up. But I didn't think too much about it. I parked myself on the sofa and went to sleep. So I wake up suddenly to crackling noises. My aircon was flickering and then powered off. This was complete darkness apart from an orange glow behind the curtain. I couldn't work out what it was. I'd just woken up, so I pushed the curtains back. The fire had started. The electric box was cracking and crackling and little explosions on it. So I ran down to the kitchen as fast as I could in complete darkness. And I always leave the key here. So even though I couldn't see anything, I knew the key was there and managed to get out of the house. Right, so by this point a mild panic had kicked in. I didn't put my shoes on, I couldn't locate my phone. I'd left it in the toilet, and I remembered the day before I'd been tidying the leaves away. I did take some of the leaves away, but I also put some in the beds under the trees where the fire was, so I knew it was like a tinderbox waiting to happen. And I raced along to see a wall of fire here, which was pretty scary. It spread all the way along here, but it hadn't got to the hose. There's a tap, so I turned that on, and of course there's no electric, which means there's no pump. So there was only enough water that was already in the pipes which was about 20 seconds worth. And then I thought, that's fine. Okay, I got no water there. I'll go to the government water at the front. Now, our government water pipe runs along the wall and into our water tank at the back there. So I turned that on and nothing came out. The fire had burnt the water pipe. I didn't realise this. So that is when the panic kicked in, because I was staring at a kind of inferno that wasn't far from the house. And yeah, with no water, no phone, no light. And the only water I had was in that little brown pot up there. But I didn't have any container. I sprinted back to the house. It was just complete darkness. I was scrambling around. I was looking at this bowl. It wasn't big enough. And then, yeah, I just went for the trusty, if I can get it, trusty rice pot, which isn't actually that big, but yeah. I ran back to the water pot and just began sprinting. I think it was about 15 times in total, catching my feet on this nasty little thorny thing a few times along the way. It was a bit of a losing battle. I kept throwing the water on at the worst areas. I was a bit concerned there'd still be live wires, but at that point I didn't care. I just chucked the water on where it was at its worst. It would dissipate a bit but then kick off again, and it would kept spreading along the wall. Now, luckily the water pipe had broken right underneath where the epicenter of the fire was. I'd left it running from the front there, so it was pooling with water. So the actual center or epicenter of the blaze was kind of dissipating, but it was spreading up and along. So I made my final run to the water pot and then kind of resigned because I had no water. I was going to run into the house and try and find my phone and call somebody, but like an angel from heaven, I could feel water splashing on me. It was engulfed with smoke, and I could feel this water, and my neighbour shouting across to me. I explained what was happening and I said, "Can you get the hose up over the wall?" And he said it couldn't reach. So he ended up somehow getting it to reach, and he climbed up on a water pot here and was basically soaking this area. The fire was still blazing. He had a face mask on. I didn't, which is why I've been out of action for a while. But we managed to get it under control. There was some water in a water pot behind the garage. I was running backwards and forwards. It took about 40 minutes. It kept reigniting, and we finally got it. So my neighbour's a godsend, and he got a nice case of Heineken for his efforts. But he was looking after his own property as well, because it's not that far. It's only about 4 or 5 meters. So anyway, apparently I blew the whole area. No one had electric, but he's on solar, as is the computer guy opposite now. Everyone seems to be going to solar around here, and so his solar pump was basically saving my arse. He called the government electric to come out to fix other people's electric first, because obviously I had caused this problem. So about 2:30 in the morning, the PEA, or government electric, turned up, and we were all meeting out the front here. So I had 4 guys turn up in the government electric truck. My neighbour was here, and they basically told me I'd caused this problem. Now, these have been replaced, but for those that don't know, wires that are coming into your meter are the responsibility of the government electric board. The wires that go from your meter to the house are your responsibility. So these were completely fried, and they very carefully snipped the wires, disconnected them. But I noticed that the government wires were damaged, not burnt, but damaged. So I brought this to their attention and was like, could this have been the cause? And I was quickly told it wasn't the cause. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm sure they're right, but I wasn't happy about it. I don't think it had anything to do with the fire, because the meter was still fine inside this box. One of the guys said he could do or put the electric cables directly to my house. He refused to put the wires into any PVC piping. He said it was too dangerous, it gets too hot. So we arranged to meet the next day. I came back inside, thanked my neighbour profusely, and got some bigger water pots. Went in the house, found my aircon controller which had a light, found my phone, spoke to my wife, and then just sat there with a water pot, just keeping my eye on this area because it was still smouldering, it was still glowing orange. After about an hour, went into the house. I was a bit of a mess. I heard a noise over there, so I pointed the aircon and there's a bloody great big rice rat, huge thing the size of a small cat, and I followed it across. He ran under the sofa. I'm like, really, mate? After the night I've had. So I got a broom, got him out, and just shut the door, and just I didn't care by that point. Ended up being 2 or 3 of them. It is rice rat season. Anyway, passed out on here in the dark for a couple of hours. Yeah, so quite a night. Didn't really sleep that much, and I was gonna stay in a hotel because I had no electric, no water. I wasn't sure if this guy was gonna turn up, but he did. After working all night on the call with the electric company, he turned up, did a good job, charged me $200 for connecting the cables to the house directly. They were here a couple of hours in extreme heat and checked the safety boxes in the house. And I asked him about the aircon unit because that was what I kind of thought might have triggered it. But in classic Thai style, he just got the aircon controller, turned it on, and went, yeah, it's not a problem. But I haven't used it since. I've replaced it actually with a new unit, and I'm going to replace the one in the PC room as well. So in terms of the cause, everyone is pointing at the junction box, loose cable, the wall has been leaning. The guy said it's been, in the sun, in the rain, and it wasn't the best way of installing the electrics. So yes, that we are sort of looking at that as the main cause, but also the aircon unit I'm still not 100% on, and also the government wires, which are very frayed, not burnt, but just warm. And the guy that finally came a few days later to change the government side and replace those wires said they were very dangerous. I had rats in the house. I don't know if they were gnawing on wires. I didn't see anything, but there was just a few things going on that I'm not 100% and still a little bit paranoid, to be honest. But anyway, let's go into some safety measures that I've taken, and also some bit of advice on if you're building here in Thailand. Right, so there's no beating around the bush. There is some sketchy stuff that goes on in Thailand in terms of electric. So this goes for people that are renting as well. Also, you've got to bear in mind the extreme temperatures here. So things degrade a lot quicker than they would in the West. This goes for your tires as well on your car. You need to replace them more often than you would back home. I'd say the number one thing is have your phone near you. That was such a mistake, leaving it in the toilet. The phone has a light on it. It has contact with the outside world. And I usually do. Most people now have their phones next to them. They're usually doing something before they go to bed. But in terms of other safety measures, we're not too bad here, to be honest. We've got smoke alarms outside the bedrooms. We've got a smoke alarm up here. In the kitchen, we've got a fire blanket. I've got keys at exit points. I've got bars in the bedroom that can open if you need to get out in an emergency. But in terms of water supply, which freaked me out, when you haven't got any water, it's very difficult because a lot of these problems occur in the hot season where there isn't a lot of water about. So basically, where the pipe has been damaged, I've done a temporary fix, which can be, I can take it apart and put a hose, and I've got the government water, which doesn't rely on a pump. So I'll have 2 access points, that one and at the water tank. So that's my sort of fix for having a water supply. In terms of lighting, I remember we were building the house, my wife wanted to have the emergency light thing, the metal box with the lamps on the wall. But I was into aesthetics when I was building then. I didn't want wires, I didn't want big metal boxes on the wall. So I thought, well, we'll just get some torches, that's fine. But these things happen like 10 years down the line. A lot of that torch is going to be used and then moved when you really need it. Like I needed a torch, I needed a phone. I couldn't find it when I really needed it. I'm looking into a generator. I don't know if we'll go down that route. Aging electrical appliances. I've been here a while, got some old aircon units. That aircon unit has been, has gone. It's history. Got a Daikin inverter aircon, which is lovely. It's really quiet, and apparently it saves you money as well. So I'm going to change all the air cons and old electrical appliances. So it's just a few things to think about, but I think the minimum are smoke alarms and something that I purchased, which is just a small fire extinguisher, but a dry powder one, which is for electric fires. It only goes for about 12-15 seconds, but that is enough to put out some kind of sketchy electric fire, which can happen. They do happen quite often in Thailand. You can get them for 400 baht off Shopee, Lazada. Smoke alarms are what, like 200-300 baht. So in terms of building here, the house itself hasn't had any issues. We've had issues with the wall, but all the other problems have been from putting everything underground, under concrete, where if you do have an issue, you just can't get to it, or you have to break everything up. So if you do want to put it underground, I don't know anything about electrics, but if there's a way of doing it, you need to discuss with your electrician or builder a safer way, then go for it. Or, you know, if it's in loose soil, that's okay, I think. But if you're going under concrete, as I said, it's a pain. I've had issues with the telephone wires. We had to get them up. You've seen what happened with the water pipe. We had to break the concrete and the electric. So I would say, you know, just aesthetics, yeah, are important. I've got like 6 wires now. I don't care. My house is all right. That's all I care about. You know, I don't care about the wires now. Now, also get your stuff checked if you're building. You don't know who's doing it. There isn't the safety standards here or the qualifications. It's usually a guy, you know, who's well known, or it might be someone's relative who's, you know, getting put onto the job. So you don't exactly know who's doing your electrics. So if you're not sure, and you do get these feelings about people sometimes, you sort of get that feeling if they're doing a good job or not. Get it checked, double checked, get the electric authority in to check it, double check it. Well, lastly, get their contact details. The guy that did the electrics here, we didn't have a problem for like 14 years. He sort of knew what he'd done, and when we did have issues and things were under the ground, we didn't know what, you know, which was where, what, you know, we couldn't contact him. He moved away. No one knew where he went, so we were sort of left in the dark. And so I would do the same with your plumber who's done your house, with the electrician. Get the contact details, because further on down the line, it might just save you some hassles. Right, in terms of my health, well, I was all right on Sunday. I thought, okay, I'll just make a video about it on Monday, get it up. And I couldn't get out of bed. I had problems breathing, I was achy. I didn't have a temperature, but I felt sick as a dog. I Googled it. I knew it was something to do with the fire and smoke inhalation. It can take a while for the toxins to get through your body, and it was just, yeah, your kidneys, your liver, they're getting rid of all that. I took in a lot of smoke from the wires, from, you know, carbon monoxide, all that sort of stuff. So I mixed that with adrenal fatigue. I hadn't slept for 2 days, and stress, because it was stressful. You think your house is, you know, going to burn down. It ups the stress level. So it took me a couple of weeks to get over. It's only the last couple of days I felt myself again. So the wife did come and help me out. We ended up having a big argument because I wasn't sure that had been checked, because she does think I worry too much. I know it's the sort of way, yeah, it's been checked, just, you know, be quiet, but I don't think it had been checked. I broke her favourite vase running through the house, and to top it all, she had to go out my YouTube channel. So what can you do? Well, I bought a new camera. It's a bit like a GoPro 8, so it should be better stabilisation, better colours, so we'll see. Anyway, we're going to do a very quick phrase of the day. Yay! Alright, welcome to Phrase of the Day. If you find yourself in a scary situation, maybe a health scare, or you're trapped in a room or in an accident, you shout these 2 words. ช่วยด้วย ช่วยด้วย, which basically means help or help me. And you just shout that out of the top of your lungs. It's easy to remember, and I can guarantee you, I've had a few situations living here in Thailand, and Thais will bend over backwards to assist you. So if you do find yourself in a sticky situation, shout those 2 words, and you'll have help coming your way soon. Well, that's it for today. It was kind of a cautionary tale. You don't expect this stuff to happen to you, but I don't know. These days, everything seems to be happening to me. The wife has actually said I should go to the temple with 1,000 eggs as an offering for good luck, but, you know, I'll probably do my back in. So I'm just ducking and weaving, trying to just, you know, stay out of trouble, hope nothing blows up and can actually walk and get around. No more injuries. So yeah, we'll be out. Depending on the situation here, there are talks of partial lockdowns, which is a bit scary, but we'll try and get out and upload some more videos. Bob is doing fine. There has been some concern about him, and the vegetation actually that was obliterated by the fire, it seems to be coming back. We've had a lot of rain here, so that big hole should be covered up soon. On that note, I say thank you for all your support and stay safe, stay well. I'll see you in the next video.